Great working with dogs.
Be there for all the madcap fun during Comedy Week on The Muppet Show, beginning Wednesday at 7:30 on Channel 2.
Gary U.S. Bonds, Monday at 7:30.
From CBS News, this is 30 Minutes with Betty Ann Bowser and Christopher Glenn.
All over the country, armies of young people are blasting away at invaders from outer space and paying for the privilege. I'll be looking at the electronic game craze, which has not only fascinated the nation, but which has created some interesting problems as well.
In my story, we'll meet a 26-year-old married man who decided to pose as a teenager and go back to high school. We'll talk to him about the book he wrote describing his experiences as an undercover kid.
And later on What It Takes, we'll hear from a veterinarian on what qualifications are needed for that interesting job.
So stay with us. In a moment, we'll begin our stories on 30 Minutes.
It's the Dolly Pop's Dress Show.
Dolly Pop's Dress Show. Oh, Dolly, Dolly, Dolly.
The new Dolly Pop's Dress Show has a stage that really turns. A dress show dressing room with 8 beautiful pop-on outfits.
You are beautiful. Dolly Pop's Dress Show. Oh, Dolly, Dolly, Dolly. Dolly Pop's.
Dolly Pop's Dress Show comes with everything you see here. You have to put it together. New from Knickerbocker.
When you play bonkers, you roll to go forwards, but a card can send you back, or forwards, or back again.
That's why they call it bonkers.
Every time you play a bonkers card, you change the bonkers track, so it's never the same game twice.
That's why they call it bonkers.
No matter which way you move, you try to land on score and get a point, because the first one with 12 points wins.
That's why they call it bonkers.
Bonkers, a family game from Parker Brothers.
In 1978, a new Japanese machine appeared on American shores. Although it looked innocent enough, this machine turned out to have some unusual powers. It kept kids mesmerized for hours, made teenage boys forget about girls, and even caused business executives to skip the 3-martini lunch. The machine was Space Invaders, and it became so popular that it inspired a song, fan clubs, tournaments, and even caused a serious shortage of coins in Japan. Space Invaders prompted a video game revolution in the United States, as more than 30 computer and electronics companies started designing new games and competing for our quarters. In 1980, Americans spent $3.3 billion playing video games. That's more money than the total combined budgets for the cities of Chicago, Boston, Washington, Dallas, and Cincinnati last year. Who's playing the games? Well, if you go to any arcade, you're likely to see people of all ages. But game manufacturers tell us that the overwhelming majority, about 85% of all the players, are teenage males.
One main reason is like the teenage kids under 16, they can't drive yet, so they can't go out cruising around, and they need something to do, so they come here and they waste their money on the games.
It's something like a sport almost, parts of it. Just coordination and developing patterns.
It lets you release some of your tensions and lets you think for a minute that you're a pilot of a spaceship destroying aliens that are attacking the Earth.
It's good just to sit down and not have to think for a while and just blow things up. Like you hear about people that go out and smash their cars into trees because they just fed up. This is a good way of taking out your aggressions without doing any harm.
While the kids are busy playing the games, the manufacturers are busy making them. The Atari company in Sunnyvale, California, is the oldest U.S. manufacturer of video games, and the company estimates that business has increased 300% or 400% in the past few years. Don Osborne is the vice president of sales. Why is it, do you think, Don, that the games have become so popular at this particular point in time?
We are a space-age society. We are an electronic society. We are a society, and especially at the teenage level, that has grown up with an enormous amount of exposure to television. The interest in video games is simply a reflection of that.
If we weren't an electronic society, we wouldn't have video games at all. Small printed circuit boards inside the machines contain the complicated information that makes the games work. The brain of the whole operation is this tiny microprocessor. In 1950, it would have taken a room full of computers to perform the data processing functions of today's microcircuits. Sophisticated technology is also essential in designing the games. Teams of engineers work to translate the ideas for the games into the computer programs which will get them on the screen. The entire process, from original concept to when a game goes on the market, can take over a year. What is it that makes a good game?
Typically, a game has to be easy to learn how to play in the beginning, but it must be difficult to master. That's very, very important. We also find that a successful game today must be a game that, as the player's skill increases, that player can have the opportunity to play for longer and longer periods of time. If they can develop the skill and abilities, they want to be able to play for as long as they can.
The amount of time some people can play the games is staggering. Gregg Davies, an 18-year-old from Fresno, California, played Asteroids for 31 hours on just 1 quarter. His final score for the game, a record 15.5 million points. To get this good, Greg practiced for a year, pumping hundreds of dollars in quarters into Asteroids. Still, he thinks it was worth it.
You make a lot more friends around here. People look up to you, you know. There's a lot of people that, oh, well, here, you know, here's Greg. Here comes Greg again.
Did it change your life, Greg?
Oh, yeah. Now my life kind of centers around the games, arcades and stuff. Right now, that's my thing.
If you're looking for teenagers in Mount Prospect, Illinois, you're likely to find them at Mother's Pinball Arcade. With its low-level lighting and constant rock music, Mother's has become a kind of hangout for the local youth. Bill Herman owns the arcade. How often do the kids come in? I mean, are there repeaters, regulars that you see a lot?
There's a curve. There's initial exposure to games where the people come in almost every day for maybe a month, and then it tapers off to where it's maybe 2 or 3, 4 times a week. But there is a curve. That initial exposure really gets people in. Once they get exposed to games, if they've never played some of the top games, they come in and play them, then they come in every day. They just can't wait to get back to try and do better on the game.
Some of the regular customers we talked to said they practically live here at Mother's. By their own admission, they're part of a growing group of video addicts.
Do you get addicted to the games?
Definitely. If the game beats me, you know, I just feel like I have to go out and get it, and I keep trying until I do.
You want to get the high score in the game every time you come in, and if you don't, you just pump you another quarter.
If you're infatuated with a machine, you can think of almost nothing else and just concentrate on it.
Steve Ritchie is a video game designer. What do the kids get out of playing a game? They bring anything beneficial away from it?
Definitely. I think some of the benefits are, it definitely improves your motor skills. Your reaction time can improve on a game from one day to the next, and it really tests them. You feel very satisfied when you're finished playing. You feel like you've accomplished something. You've beaten a machine.
While playing video games may have some benefits, this obsession with the games can also have negative effects.
Sometimes I'll go over at lunch and start playing the games and miss a class after lunch or something.
Has it touched into your grades at all?
I've probably moved down about 1 grade since I started playing. 1 or 2 grades down. I'm about B's or C's right now.
How do your folks feel about it? I might imagine you must have some kind of ambiguous feelings. You know, on the one hand, you're the champion. On the other hand, your grades have gone down a notch.
I think they kind of like it because they always know where I'm at. They know I'm not off causing trouble somewhere. They know they can just call the arcade or call Roundtable and I'll be there.
Not all parents are in favor of their children spending time and money playing video games. In several states, parent groups are trying to pass laws regulating the use of the machines.
Use and ownership of amusement devices.
We went to a town meeting in Irvington, New York, where the citizens were considering passing an ordinance to prevent young teenagers from playing the games and to restrict the number of games that would be allowed in the town. The debate started because the local junior high school is located right across the street from a delicatessen where the kids like to hang out when they're not in class. This year, the deli installed 3 video games, and some parents got concerned.
There were children stopping on their way to school in the morning at 8:15 or whatever, and playing a few games and coming in a few minutes late to school because they were involved in the games. There were children using their lunch money. Instead of eating lunch, it was much more fun playing games who cared about lunch.
Although some of the kids admitted they spend up to $5 a day on the games, they all thought it was unfair for the town to pass laws to stop them from playing.
Well, I don't think the town has any right to restrict us from using our money because it's our money, you know? I mean, the parents are one thing, but I don't think the town should do anything about it. I think it's up to the parents to make the rules, or the kids to make their own rules.
I don't like it. This is supposed to be a free country, land of opportunities. I want opportunity to play a game.
As it turned out, the town decided not to put an age limit on the games, but they did pass a ruling that would make it impossible for an arcade to open in Irvington. This isn't the first time rules have been passed against amusement games.
New York City completes a roundup of thousands of pinball machines, each valued at about $100.
In 1938, all of the pinball machines in New York City were confiscated and destroyed, and it was 38 years before they were legal again. But today's video game manufacturers don't seem worried. While individual towns may restrict the use of the games, overall, business continues to boom. There are 500,000 video games in the United States today, and industry sources say there will be a lot more. The real future of video games, however, isn't in the hands of either the manufacturers who are pushing the games or the parents who want to stop them.
The player, the person who is willing to spend the quarter, he's the dominant force.
Do you think that video games are going to be here to stay, or are they just a fad that's going to go away?
They'll be here to stay.
I think it might die down a little bit.
I think they're going to be around for a long time. Because they say we're living in a space age, and these games are space age.
Do you think that they're here to stay, or is it just another hula hoop sort of?
Probably another hula hoop. No, I think they're going to be around for good. Too many people are hooked on them now. I don't think they're going to end that quick.
Evidence. New Dinky Donut cereal looks like little donuts.
But it stays crispy in milk. And it's fortified with 8 vitamins, plus iron.
Dinky Donut cereal is a good part of this nutritious breakfast.
And we rest our case.
Why?
The judge ate the evidence. I couldn't help it.
The case is closed. New Dinky Donuts looks and tastes like little donuts.
But it's really a delicious cereal. I love it. Ready? Get set, go!
You can race through the maze. Through the hurdles. Through the tilts. To the basketball.
I won!
Madcap Marathon. It keeps you on the move.
Madcap Marathon is 4 games in 1. You have to put it together by Tommy.
In your milk, add the mix, turn it on, it's fun to fix.
Quick and thick, shake machine.
Fast or slow, round and round, tastes so good when she drinks it down.
Quick and thick, shake machine.
Strawberry shortcake with her freckled nose and raspberry tart, both are cute when they're posed. Little dolls from the Strawberry Shortcake and her friends collection, each sold separately, each with a separate smell.
Strawberries! Raspberries! It's fun to comb strawberries' hair. It's now lemon meringue. Lemon! And this is apricot with bunny hopsalot. Tastes not delicious!
Strawberry shortcake and raspberry tart, lemon meringue, and apricot with hopsalot, each sold separately from Kenner.